Chad Scott along with Gridiron Now recruiting analyst Ryan Green, and we're going to provide you with another update on the Georgia Bulldogs 2018 recruiting class and how it's coming together. On previous editions here on the Facebook page, we've talked about it being a slow start for Georgia, no question about it, but they've picked up some momentum in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, they have. In fact, the last 9 days, I believe, they've gone from 2 commitments to 5. So obviously a little bit of momentum for Georgia on the recruiting trail. Probably the biggest prize of the 3 newest recruits is Warren Erickson, big offensive lineman from the state of Georgia. Darn near every team in the SEC had offered Warren Erickson. He's a 4-star offensive guard prospect. He committed to Georgia late last week.
Well, and that's important and interesting because there had been some other offensive linemen I think we've talked about before. We've kind of shied away from Georgia because Georgia loaded up so heavy on the 2017 class with offensive linemen. But this is the sort of player, in-state player, obviously you like that. They like to keep them at home. But, you know, super high-end talent. Everyone wanted him. And he's the kind of guy that no matter who else you have on the roster, he can come in, maybe not as a freshman, but perhaps as a redshirt freshman or very early in his career. Regardless of who else is on the team, he can get some playing time. He's that good.
Yeah, it's a great point, and you're right. The offensive line last year for Georgia was probably the highlight of their 2017 class. Erickson's the first offensive lineman to commit to the 18 squad, and again, he was very highly sought after. Florida State, Alabama, Auburn, everybody wanted this kid. He ultimately stays at home, commits to the Dogs.
One of the commitments did come from out of state, and he didn't have many SEC offers, kind of the opposite situation. Tell us about this defensive end, correct?
Yeah, defensive end Javon Becton from the state of Virginia. Now, he didn't have any more SEC offers except Georgia, but NC State, Maryland, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, obviously a bunch of offers. Georgia, his only SEC offer, he jumped at it. He committed to Georgia at the end of May, beginning of June. So a big get for the Georgia Bulldogs there on the defensive line, a very highly sought after prospect. And to get him out of Virginia when Virginia Tech was interested in him is a big get for the Dogs.
Well, and something now Georgia fans are going to be very interested in following is Justin Fields. He had been committed to Penn State since early December of 2016, but decommitted this week. He's a 5-star prospect. He is the #1 ranked dual threat quarterback in the 2018 class, a player out of Kennesaw. Georgia obviously very interested now with him back in the market.
There's no question about it. You mentioned out of Kennesaw, 9 months he was committed to James Franklin and the Penn State Nittany Lions. He decommits earlier this week. Georgia is absolutely in play. He's basically in the Dogs' backyard there in Kennesaw. So obviously the #1 dual threat quarterback in the country. Georgia would love to land him. A lot of competition though. Florida, Florida State, Auburn, you name it. Schools are coming after this young man. So Justin Fields, probably the hottest free agent, if you will, now on the recruiting trail after decommitting from Penn State.
Well, and what's going to be interesting to watch too is the roster management for Georgia. Jacob, if you're a quarterback prospect, okay, so put yourself in the shoes of Justin Fields. Okay, Jacob Eason there, he's going to be a true sophomore, but you figure after his junior year he may go to the NFL. But Jake Fromm is there, who came in for the 2017 class, correct? Now, will Georgia choose to redshirt him and sort of delay his progress, or get him some playing time this year? That will affect perhaps Justin Fields, or someone wants to come in and says, hey, how long is it going to be for me to get on the field? So for Georgia, I would think the longer that Fields waits to make a decision, maybe the better off they're going to be.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it, but make no mistake about it, Chad. That's going to be negatively recruited against the Dogs. When these coaches go into Justin Fields' house, they talk to him, they're explaining the situation. If he mentions Georgia, they'll show the depth chart. They'll show, Eason. They'll show Fromm. So it's great that Georgia has those quarterbacks, no question. You'd much rather have them than not have them, but it could affect the Justin Fields situation.
He is Gridiron Now recruiting analyst Ryan Green. My name is Chad Scott, and we will keep you updated on Georgia football recruiting as we close in on National Signing Day 2018.